What if grief wasn't about letting go, but was about remembering with love? Around the world this week, on November 1st and 2nd, millions of people are lighting candles, they're sharing stories, and celebrating the lives of those that they've lost. So let's talk about the Day of the Dead and All Souls Day and what that can teach us about staying connected even after saying goodbye. I'm Linda Velasco, and I am a grief and trauma therapist and host of the Mending Piece by Piece podcast. And I thought it was important to talk about these days that are sacred moments of remembrance. On November 1st, families in many Latin American and Catholic traditions honor what is called the Day of the Little Angels, which is for children who have passed. I am not even going to try to pronounce what they really call it because I butcher the English language enough that I don't even want to do that and try to say it in Spanish. And on November 2nd, they celebrate the Day of the Dead and All Souls Day. And that's remembering adults who have died. Homes and cemeteries will be filled with marigolds, candles, photos, and favorite foods. It's not about mourning in silence. It's about welcoming love home and celebrating the bonds that never break. We need to look at grief as a connection, not as separation. In many cultures, death isn't seen as the end of a relationship. It's transformation. On the Day of the Dead, many families will create altars, which are filled with items that their loved ones cherished. The bright marigolds, they're believed to guide spirits home with their fragrance and the vibrant color. And candles, they light the path of remembrance. I think that's so beautiful. Over the last couple years, I've learned more about these different cultures and traditions and about life and death and grief, and wish that here in the US that we had more of those traditions and it was part of our culture, because these gestures show us that love continues to live beyond death. They're perfect examples of how the continuum bonds theory, which is grief doesn't mean forgetting. It means carrying their memory forward in a new way and to continue with those bonds even after the person has passed away. Rituals help give shape to emotions that often feel too big to hold. Lighting a candle, saying a prayer, preparing a favorite meal, looking at pictures, putting pictures up on a shelf or an altar. These create a sacred space for our grief to rest. Even if you don't celebrate these specific days, you can create your own ritual of remembrance. It doesn't need to be elaborate. It needs to be meaningful to you. It could be something as simple as going out in your garden and cutting down some flowers and putting them in a vase next to your loved one's picture, or buying their favorite flowers and bringing them home. Lighting a candle, saying their name out loud, saying a prayer, sharing a story that brings a smile, playing their favorite song. Each small act is a conversation between your heart and theirs. It's a way of saying, you're still a part of me. One of the most beautiful lessons from Day of the Dead is that joy and grief can live side by side. Families sing, they tell stories, and they laugh as they remember. Not because they stopped grieving, but because they're embracing the fullness of love and memory. I'm sure there are also tears that are shed those 2 days. I know during All Souls Day that there will be masses set across not just the country, but across the world for those who have passed on before us. And I know that people will be crying in the pews, remembering their loved ones. So it is joy and there is grief, and they can coexist together. Healing isn't about moving on. If you've listened to any of my videos, I say that over and over. Healing isn't about moving on or getting over it. It's about learning how to carry their memory and their love and the loss and carry that forward together, finding small ways to smile again without guilt. You can deeply miss your loved one and still celebrate the moments that remind you of them. That joy is not betrayal. It's remembrance. Here are just a few simple ways that you can honor your loved one this week. Doesn't have to be November 1st or 2nd. You could light a candle and speak their name. You could cook their favorite meal or bake their favorite dessert and share it with family or friends. You could write them a letter. Say what you wish you could tell them today. You could create a small remembrance space, like a photo, a flower, a keepsake, something that reminds you of them in a space on a table where that can be your personal altar of love. These gestures don't keep you stuck, but they help you stay connected in healthy and meaningful ways. Grief softens when we give it a voice, we shed light on it, and we create rituals. These traditions remind us that remembrance is not about holding on to pain. It's about holding on to love. It's about holding on to love. No matter your faith or your culture, taking time to honor those who have died brings healing, peace, and connection. If this message speaks to you, or you celebrate either one of these days, or you have a way that you stay connected and honor your loved one, please share it in the comments below. And be sure to share it with others who may need this reminder today. And remember, love never dies. It just simply changes form. Until next time, continue mending piece by piece, one step at a time.